Welcome, welcome. June is already on the way out. July is already on the way in. So that means we're ready to talk about the books that are coming out this July. So one thing I've noticed in looking at the books month over month is that July really does seem to be a lighter publishing month this year overall, which makes sense. Summer is a really busy time for readers. So I don't see a ton of books that are like the huge hits of the year, but there are definitely some that I'm still looking forward to. So that's what we're talking about today, the books that I'm looking forward to that come out this July, and hopefully you hear of a book that you might want to pick up or check out as well. First up are the July 1st releases. The Art of Vanishing is a romance book that is a debut that I'm definitely looking forward to. For those of you who like Ashley Poston, this one is also a magical realism book, and it's a romance between an art museum employee and a person who is stuck in a painting. Yes, I understand how weird that sounds, but I'm kind of here for it though, especially when you find out the rest of the premise. So the museum employee finds out that she can actually step inside to the painting into this world, which is actually France in the throes of World War I. So I really like how the museum paintings are acting as a portal into a different world. Next up, also on July 1st, is The Satisfaction Cafe. This one is a character-driven book following a woman named Joan throughout her life. As her first marriage implodes, she then leaves Taiwan for California, falls in love again, and has children. So as her children grow into adults, she decides to open up a cafe that's a place for people to come together and give support to each other. Based on the reviews that I've seen though, it does deal with some heavier topics, so check out the content warnings before you check it out. Next up on July 8th, the first one I'm going to talk about today is Slanting Towards the Sea. It's a debut that takes place on the Croatian coast. I was lucky enough to actually get an advanced reader copy of this book, and I just finished it. And I have to say, this one really makes for like a perfect summer beach read. This one follows a woman named Ivona and follows 20 years of her life as she meets her first husband, ends up getting divorced, and then is trying to look for new love in her life about 10 years after that. This one is also a character study, and I really think that it's going to be a bit polarizing for people because I don't think a lot of people are going to agree with the decisions that some of these characters make in this book. So in that respect, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Broken Country. You want to know what decisions these characters are going to make. It's propulsive in that same way. I do want to put out a warning though that there are some really heavy fertility issues that come up in this book. So if you're sensitive to reading about that, then you may want to skip this one. But I thought it was really good and I really enjoyed it. Next up is Bittersweet, another debut. And this one is supposed to be for fans of books that have messy relationship issues like Adelaide or The Rachel Incident. It's about a woman in her early 20s. She lands a dream job at a publishing house, but that's where she meets and then develops an affair with her favorite author, who is 30 years her senior and married. So a character-driven book about bad decisions. The plot reminds me a bit of Andromeda, which came out earlier this year, but in that one, the two people have a friendship and they don't have an affair. Also on the 8th is The View from Lake Como. This one is about a woman named Jess who lives in New Jersey. She is recently divorced and taking care of her aging parents. She's not really very happy with how her life is going. But after an unexpected loss, Jess ends up taking off to Italy, her ancestral home, to learn more about her family history and hopefully discover her own creative, happy life. And also on the 8th, we have a romantasy from Julie Soto, who is one of my favorite romance authors. I really loved Forget Me Not, so now she's moving into the romantasy space. Here's the setting of Rose in Chains. So it takes place at the end of a war, and a princess who is on the losing side ends up getting auctioned off. A bishop who is on the other side is the one who wins her at auction. And then the book is about what happens from there. I've heard it's based on some Hermione fan fiction, which is like Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger. I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, so I never really followed into all of that. But I do want to warn that the cover looks pretty light, but apparently this book is very, very dark. So if you go to Julie Soto's website, she has the content warnings for this book listed there. So make sure you check those out before you end up picking up this book. Moving now to some lighter fare. Coming out on July 15th, we've got a few highly anticipated cozy fantasies with a bit of romance. The first one is The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst, which is the follow-up to The Spell Shop, which was a book I read last year and I really enjoyed. So The Enchanted Greenhouse follows one of the characters that was mentioned in The Spell Shop, Turlu. She is the one who created everyone's favorite sentient spider plant, Kaz. This book promises singing flowers, honey cakes, and of course, magical greenhouses. So Turlu discovers that the magic that keeps the greenhouses lush and beautiful is failing, so she has to try to save them. Also out on the same day is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, which is by Sengu Mandana, who wrote The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. It's a book that came out a few years ago, but really made a big bang. This book follows Sarah Swan, who used to be one of the most powerful witches in Britain. However, she has lost her powers and has been exiled from her guild. So now she has to help her aunt run an enchanted inn, but she longs for a future where she can have her magic back. But then she finds out about an old spell that could hold the key to restoring her power. I really love books like these that have a little bit of romance, but a lot of whimsy. So I'm definitely looking forward to both of them. Another really interesting one that comes out on July 15th is A Summer for the Books. Now, this is a dual timeline novel about two former best friends finding their way back to each other. So one of the friends seems to have it all. She's got a perfect marriage, she's a best-selling author, and has her dream home. But not everything is as perfect as it seems. She's actually got a big case of writer's block and her marriage is falling on hard times. So the other friend has lost some of her memory after a bike accident. So she decides to call her best friend, not realizing that they haven't actually spoken in years. So this is about what happens when the two of them reunite. And finally, on July 29th is the latest from Laura Steven. She wrote Our Infinite Fates, which is a young adult fantasy book that I really enjoyed back when I read it in May. So the latest is a new saga. It is called Silver Cloak, and it's an adult fantasy series. But this one, her pen name is different. She's going by LK Steven here. So in this addictive new fantasy series set in a world where magic is fueled by pleasure and pain, an obsessive detective infiltrates a brutal gang of dark mages, knowing that one wrong move will get her killed. So it sounds like it's going to be really different from Our Infinite Fates, but I'm really interested in this author and checking out more of her work. So there are definitely many more books that I'm looking forward to. These are just kind of the top of the top that I'm excited for this July. Let me know in the comments which books you're looking forward to on the most this list, and also just if there are any that I missed that you're looking forward to as well. Don't forget, you can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm at BookTubeVertBliss over there. And if you haven't yet already, please subscribe to me on this channel so that you never miss a video that I post. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to stay hydrated and keep applying that sunscreen throughout the summer. Happy reading, everyone.